Welcome back, everybody, to the Strict Guards universe. Yeah, I'm a dark. What do you want from me? Anyway, so today is more of a mental health video here. We're not mental health. This is just a general health video. So today I want to talk about something I've been experiencing, and it has taken me years to figure out, and that is I have had issues with low testosterone since I was 23, 24 years old. And up until recently, I think I finally got it under control, and I'm going to get more blood work to confirm if I've actually succeeded in what I was attempting. But I'm going to walk you down my journey here a little bit. Um, so I used Finasteride, which is the keep your hair stuff, and as you can see, my hair's gone because I stopped using it. Um, so at first it was I couldn't afford it after a while, so then I stopped taking it and I didn't have access to it on a cheap way because of, that you couldn't get it from Canada or other places. So it made it a very expensive drug for me to try and purchase. But then that's when I started noticing symptoms of low T. I had hot flashes. It's harder for me to gain muscle. It was easier to gain fat. I was feeling lethargic. I didn't really have any pep. I didn't have the confidence I used to have. And all of this like happened in a very, very quick time. And also, yeah, and also I had panic attacks and hot flashes. All this happened very quickly after I had taken this stuff, and eventually, it actually led to a little bit of erectile dysfunction. Actually, quite a bit. Where like the problem I would run into is that like I could get an erection, but it would stay hard. And, this is something that's been plaguing me for like a decade. And, kudos to my wife for dealing with that. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so, and like just talking down the journey of what I've tried over the years, I went to a doctor, got my test results back. And just to give you an idea of what that looked um, I get like this isn't the blood test, but this is around what my levels were when I saw this doctor at 25. So you'll see here that my testosterone's 189, so it's a little lower. This was after a lot of dieting down, and I got down to a lower digit body fat percentage. But nevertheless, my testosterone was on like 200, 300 range. And for the life of me, like I'm just like, what the heck is going on? I work out, I take care of myself. I eat a decent amount of protein, decent amount of fats, and also what's not shown here when I'm trying not to dox myself, but so that's why I'm not showing you the vitamin D level. My vitamin D level was like 30, in which, the optimal range is like, 30 to 100, but I was at the bottom of the range. And I go to my doctor and I say, "Hey, what can I do about this? Like, this is crazy. You know, I'm I'm 25. Like, it's like you're like, oh well, at 300, it's like you're still within the normal range." I'm like, yeah, but I'm 25. I work out. I'm athletic. It's like, doesn't that alarm you that my testosterone is so low for my age group? Like, yeah, if I was a 70-year-old man and I had a testosterone of 350, that I'm doing pretty good. But I'm 25. I'm in my prime. So this led me down a lot of like, I've tried a lot of different things. I never tried testosterone through replacement therapy. And the reason for that being is that once you start, it's a lifetime thing if you want to keep your levels up because your testosterone production shuts down and then your balls shrink and then you have to restart the cycle if you ever want to have your testosterone back, if you can ever get your levels back up. So, yeah, this is something that I struggled on and off with. I've tried um not DMAA. I forget what it's called, but I tried, over the counter testosterone boosters, and I tried, you know, like, the horny goat weed and all that other kinds of stuff, and those really didn't help much with my issue. Um, I noticed things started to get better when a little bit better when I started taking ZMAs, which is zinc, magnesium, and I think B12. But the thing that I think that was helping me was the zinc and the magnesium, taking that before bed. But even so, like, things like just to give you an idea of what my blood work looked like once I did that. Actually, I take it back. There was one thing in between here. So I had something called a varicocele, which is a varicose vein on your testicle. which can cause your balls to heat up and it can cause your levels to drop. So I went to a hormone replacement clinic and they said, "Oh, you have that? Yeah, you should get that fixed before we try any hormone replacement therapy because that might bring your levels up." I said, "Okay, that's reasonable, but I don't know if I've had a varicocele for all of these years. Maybe, maybe not." But so then I got the varicocele fixed. And a year after that, I got my blood work done again. And it's like, hey, 521, that's better. That's not great, but that's certainly an improvement. And considering I'm a lot older, because like right now I'm 33, so this is when I was probably around 30 years old. So this was 7 years later, and finally at least going in the right direction with my testosterone. But then you'll notice that, my free testosterone still ain't very high. That's the bottom of the acceptable range for my age bracket. And so that's when I started to try and take a bunch of other stuff. As I said, I was trying like all these different supplements, testosterone, like natural testosterone boosters. Yeah, I know I could take like pro hormones, or I could take estrogen blockers, and that could raise my testosterone, but those are all technically illegal applications of those drugs, and also there's a lot of potential side effects with that. So I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to do this, make my body produce everything naturally and me do better. So um I tried vitamin E, I tried boron, I tried vitamin D, and I combined those with ZMAs, and things got better. My erectile dysfunction got better, but it never got good. And that was even with me taking, like 8,000 units of vitamin D a day, because my vitamin D levels were very low. And even when I took all that vitamin D and I lived in Florida for a couple of years, my vitamin D levels never increased, which I was confused. So I actually found so it's like, yeah, I was struggling. Like, it's like, and I'm worried. It's like, man, I might need to go in and get special therapy, or I might need to get TRT because my blood levels aren't coming up. And so even with all these things I'm doing, just to let you know where I got, boom, it's like, oh wow, 756, your total testosterone's great. Yeah, but then my free testosterone is 1.2%. And like these are all at the low end of the range still, and this is with me lifting weights and taking vitamin D and ZMAs, all these things that are supposed to help me, and it wasn't. Like it's like, I'm not like, look, 128 is the bottom of the range, the quote unquote normal range. Yeah, but it's like if I'm doing all these things, I should be at the high, at least in the middle, if not in the higher end. I should be feeling pretty damn good, and I'm not. And uh then going on to, oh, let me close that. Stuff that's unrelated. Then I got another one a little bit later, and same thing. 54.2 bioavailable, 113, bottom of the bioavailable range. My SB, sex hormone binding globulin, is super high, which is binding up my testosterone. Though my total test is still 661. It was just really frustrating. And so finally, I actually happenstance came across, I'm like running out of options here. I don't know what's going on. And that's when I came across an article saying magnesium deficiency can actually help you out with vitamin D absorption. And that's actually a known nutritional deficiency in our world. Especially the modern world, magnesium is actually very low in a lot of people. We're not consuming enough of it. It's very abundant in spinach, but it's like you still need to eat a lot of spinach to get the recommended daily value of magnesium. And I'm taking vitamins, but those aren't high in magnesium. So I end up uh, I ended up increasing my magnesium dose, And I doubled up on it. So I separated out the ZMA. I bought zinc separately. I believe I bought magnesium glycinate. I think is the whatever version of magnesium or absorption method, and I doubled up on it. Instead of taking one pill, I was taking two pills, and suddenly I started waking up and morning wood, like things that I used to get when I was a teenager, and even in my early 20s that would sometimes happen. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then my erections got harder, and I could hold them for a lot longer than I could before. But then I did one more thing, and this is completely independent of taking drugs, is that just do not do any masturbation for 2 weeks. Let the sensitivity also come back. And now I'm doing great. Like, it's like I don't have problems with erections at all anymore. Like I can get one when I want one, which that's what it used to be like when I was in my early 20s, before I took Finasteride and all those different things. And I'm happy that I'm finally back in this place because it's something that's been plaguing me for a decade. Um, and that's something I would suggest is look into your blood work. Get your blood work done. Find out where you're deficient if you're having issues, because that could be part of it. Two, you might be masturbating too much. That's certainly a possibility, and you could be making your penis insensitive. Like those after finally getting all that done, I'm finally, it's like I'm back to where I used to be, and it's a good place. Actually, I'm also warmer than I used to be because I'm pretty certain my testosterone's gone up quite a bit, or at least my free testosterone. I'm gonna get blood work, and I will do an update video to show you what it looks like soon. Again, let me go back to what it is. Yeah, it's like, so this is my blood work as of 2 years ago, about no, a year ago, and I'm getting blood work done in a few days, and I will let you know the results of that. But yeah, I'm curious, but based on how I'm feeling and how I'm just warmer in general all the time, how I used to be, and everything's working downstairs. I think that's how I got over my erectile dysfunction and got over my low testosterone problem. It was all just tweaking and figuring things out over the course of a decade, and also not listening to doctors, because I went to multiple doctors and they would be like, "Oh, well, we generally were getting with, I went to a urologist, like who's how you're supposed to go to get testosterone. They're like, oh, we deal with people that have like a level of 70, and we get them up to like 200, 250." And it's just like, and they're like, oh, well, just part of natural aging. Like they'll see that a woman is beautiful, but they won't get turned on by them. I'm like, I guess if I was 75 or something, maybe that wouldn't bother me as much. But I'm not. So, yeah, it's like you're going to run into doctors that are just going to be like, oh, they won't like TRT because or whatever. And it's like if you want to go down the TRT route, go ahead. But I wanted to do it the natural route because I want to be able to produce this. I wanted to be able to produce my testosterone naturally and not have to deal with this stuff. Not have to deal with taking TRT for the rest of my life. Maybe when I'm in my mid 40s and my levels actually just start to drop, just as a course of aging, maybe I'll start doing TRT. But as of right now, you know, I just want my body to do what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I know this is very different than my typical videos, but I wanted to share my experience, and I hope that it's helpful for people and give some people some ideas on how to tackle their own issues. Yeah, if you like this, click the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter because I'll be posting when I post videos. Click the bell button to get alerted. And then if you like watching video games, my Twitch is also in there. So my Twitch, my Twitter, and yeah, my YouTube. Please subscribe or follow or do whatever you need to do for them.